Hello children, how are you doing? I'm sure you're learning all the grammar topics and revising them. So we will study another type of tense now. We have already done simple tenses and types of continuous tenses. Now we will study another interesting type of tenses called perfect tenses. Unit 16, perfect tenses. Let's read these sentences carefully. Sona had just completed his homework when his friends called him out to play. Sonu has just completed his homework. By the time his friends come here, Sonu will have completed his homework. Now, think that how are these sentences different in which terms? This will lead you to be curious about the perfect tenses. Let's begin with past perfect tense first. The past perfect tense shows an action completed at some point in the past before another action began. So there are two actions in picture. One started and completed at some point in the past, and there was another action which also began. So let's read these sentences. The train had left when we arrived. My brother had completed his homework when I reached home. So which is the action here which completed at some point in the past? The train had left, the action of train leaving. And my brother had completed his homework. So this is the first action here. Now there are forms of past perfect tense. In the affirmative sentence, that is positive sentences, we write had, always had, plus past participle form of the verb. For example, he had left for the day. So this is like a combination that goes along together. In negative sentences, not is inserted after the first part of the verb. We write had plus not plus past participle form of the verb or the third form of the verb. For example, the flight had not landed when I reached the airport. So here not is inserted in between had and verb. In interrogative sentences, the question sentences, the first part of the verb is put before the subject. For example, had you studied French before you moved to France? Or why had he not come? Note, short forms may also be used in interrogative sentences, or we also call them contractions. For example, why hadn't she come? So hadn't is a contraction of had not. Let's know more about these. Now the next is present perfect tense. This is also a perfect tense but in the present form. The present perfect tense is used to show an action that has just been completed. Let's read these sentences. Sonia has just finished her project. I have just started my MBA. So this is something about that has started recently or completed. Use of the present perfect tense. It is used to show an action which started in the past and is still continuing. So this is a very important point to note. There is an action which started in the past but is still continuing. For example, I have worked here since March. Now the word continuing doesn't mean that you write ing. You have to understand the sentence and its meaning. So I have worked here and I'm still working here. It expresses actions which took place in the past but the result of which we can see or feel in the present time. So this is something between past and present. Something happened in the past, we can see the results now also. For example, my uncle has got a teaching experience of 5 years. So this experience started in the past, but it is still true or relevant now. It also shows past events, the time for which is not mentioned. So here the time is unknown, but it is a past event. For example, they have known us for years. We don't know exactly in which year, for how many years, but we come to know that this has happened in past. Knowing each other. It is used when we have done several times in the past and continue to do. For example, he has written 2 books and he is working on another one. So this he has done several times in the past. We often use words like recently, just, already with the present perfect tense if the action has just ended. But in negative sentences we write has, have plus not plus past participle. So this is very typical of the present perfect tense that we use, has, have, and not had, but we will surely insert not. For example, Peter has not finished his project yet. While in interrogative sentences we write has, have before the subject, whatever the subject is. We write has, have plus subject plus past participle form of the verb. Like, have you been to Brazil in the last year? Or have you seen Callan today? Both are interrogative sentence, but we begin with either have or has. Here is a short exercise for you to practice the present perfect tense. Now we will study future perfect tense. Children, the future perfect tense is used for an action which will have finished by some future time or date as mentioned. So this is happening in future and we are kind of imagining that in future this will have finished by some particular time. So let's read these sentences. I will have saved about $2 million by the year 2022. Or the park will have been repaired by next month. The future perfect tense is used in these cases. 2. To show that an action will be completed before another takes place in the future. So a lot of imagining has to go on here. First we are saying that an action will be completed and then this action will be completed but before another place takes place, all in future. For example, the fire will have burnt the building to the ground by the time the firemen arrive. Also, to show a situation that will be over in the future. For example, the special offer buy 2 get 1 free will have finished by midday tomorrow. Now there are forms of future perfect tense. In positive statements we write we will, shall, have plus past participle form of the verb. So when we have positive, this is the formula we follow. Whereas in negative, not is added before the first part of the word. More or less other things remain same. And then we write shall or will plus not plus have plus past participle form of the verb. For example, she will not have prepared the documents by next Monday. In interrogative sentences, the question sentences, will, shall is added before the subject. Let's see in this example. Will she have prepared the documents by next Monday? Now the tone changes, it's the question. We are adding will or shall before the subject. The subject here is she, and this is added before she. Children, I hope you enjoyed learning about the perfect tense in all forms, as in past, present and future, along with very, very interesting examples. So do revisit this topic and attempt all the book exercises.